Recently I made a video where I ranked every single Fatal Fury character, and it was a lot of fun to make. So the natural progression of that would be obviously to rank all the games those characters come from. Now, I'm not going to give you the full history lesson on the series. I'm doing this video assuming you already know what a Terry Bogard and a Sokaku Mochizuki is. However, there are a couple stipulations about my ranking that I think would be worth clarifying before we jump into it. First of all, I'm not going to be including Fatal Fury First Contact because, well, do you even care? Second, Realbat Special and Realbat Special Dominated Mind will occupy the same rank because I don't really think the main bulk of the games are different enough to be considered different experiences. However, I'm counting Fatal Fury 2 and Fatal Fury Special separately, mostly because I have some personal beef with Fatal Fury 2 which I shall be divulging momentarily. And that brings me to my final point of contention. This is my opinion. Like with the character ranking, it's completely subjective and some placements will be heavily based on personal feelings and experiences, what I gathered while playing these games. So enough intro, let's get to the ranking. Number 9, Fatal Fury 2. FF2 is basically an improvement over the first game in just about every way. Bigger roster, better graphics, catchier music, expanded gameplay, all bases covered here. So what makes me enjoy this game less than Fatal Fury 1? Well, let's just say that Fatal Fury 2 was my introduction to the concept that fighting game AI can be cheap and unfair. And FF2 broke my virginity pretty fucking hard in that regard. Yeah, FF1 has some tough moments, and geese can be a problem, but Fatal Fury 2 felt broken. This was long before I figured out you could change the difficulty level in SNK titles, mind you. Every opponent was fisting me up the ass through to my mouth, all culminating in an epic showdown against Billy Kane's level 4 AI, where my strat was to crawl along the floor and sweep if I managed to get close enough, because nothing else fucking worked! Christ. I've never returned to Fatal Fury 2 since. Number 8, Fatal Fury Wild Ambition. Alright. This video is full of hot takes that probably go against the grain of what the community at large thinks. And yeah, this is definitely a bizarre placement, but something about Wild Ambition just doesn't work for me. The intro that transforms Southtown from a colourful bustling city into a smoggy dystopian hellscape, the gameplay that ditches the Fatal Fury identity in favour of chasing after the 3D bandwagon, Tsukumi Sendo's theme that I assume was composed by turning the brainwaves of a schizophrenic man into music. Wild Ambition has a lot of cool stuff in it, most notable the excellent soundtrack apart from what I just mentioned, and Mr. Karate 2 showing up, I'm all over that shit. Still, there's not much else here that makes me come back to it nearly as often as I do the other games. Like a lot of other 3D installments in primarily 2D franchises, it remains an obscure footnote in Fatal Fury's history. Number 7, Fatal Fury. The game that started it all. While it admittedly is pretty archaic compared to most of the other games in the series, I think it deserves some recognition for accomplishing exactly what it set out to do. Make Street Fighter 1 look like a steaming pile of dog shit. Just unfortunate they couldn't get it out before Street Fighter 2 dropped. Regardless, Fatal Fury 1 is a perfectly playable novelty title and lays out a surprising amount of groundwork that the series would follow for all future titles, like with the line system, the setting of Southtown, and of course a bunch of its characters would become some of the most popular in fighting game history. Believe it or not, before I played Fatal Fury 1, I had essentially no background in fighting games, apart from Smash if you count that. I'd mucked around in Street Fighter 4 for like 10 minutes as a kid on the 3DS version, so there is kind of some sentimental bias, I guess. I'm not about to tell you Fatal Fury 1 is some kind of hidden gem, but it's alright and I enjoy my time with it. Number 6, Realbout Fatal Fury. One of the biggest challenges for me with this video was trying to decide whether to rank Realbout or Fatal Fury 3 higher. It really comes down to the age-old argument, what's more important in fighting games, the gameplay or the everything else? Realbout has less stages, a weaker story, and heaps of reused assets and music. However, it plays significantly better than 3. I'm not a training mode rat, so I enjoy fighting games for everything they have to offer, the cohesive whole. Art, music, gameplay, story. And with that in mind, I have to give it to Fatal Fury 3. Realbout owes so much of its identity to 3 as is, and doesn't have much new content of its own to bolster. Even the devs have noted that the game is unfinished. They gave Billy Drip, Kim a sick new theme, and of course there's the extremely iconic final showdown between Terry and Geese. But for the final canonical entry before the Garro time skip, I think a lot more could have been done here. Number 5, Fatal Fury Special. It's funny how this game ranks so much higher than Fatal Fury 2 considering it's just an updated version of it, but Fatal Fury Special really does kick ass and gives you no reason to return to the original. It tightens up the controls slightly, I think anyway, as well as the AI. I mean, this bitch is still a massive ballbuster, but at least it doesn't make me piss blood in pure rage anymore. To be honest, Fatal Fury 2 is only ranked so low because of a personal vendetta anyway. but Special still trumps it with the addition of Tongue, Duck King, and Geese as well as playable bosses. On top of all that, we have Ryo Sakazaki as a hidden boss in the first fighting game crossover of all time, essentially making this game the catalyst for King of Fighters. Number 4, Fatal Fury 3, Road to the Final Victory. To me, this is where Fatal Fury stops being so much of a diet Street Fighter, and the series really comes into its own. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Fatal Fury Special, and I think Fatal Fury 1 is decent, but the Street Fighter influence is clear as day in both titles. FF3 on the other hand, you can really feel the effort and passion that was pumped into this one, and it really stands on its own. The focus is once again on the story, with a high stakes plot involving Geese Howard and 3 ancient scrolls that grant immortality. Most of the old cast is dropped apart from the main 5, and fan favourites like Blue Mary and Ryuji Yamazaki are introduced. The gameplay is a lot more fluid and less stiff than before, with the playing system also being tweaked to be less frustrating. But the biggest glow up has to be the graphics. This game looks really damn nice, acting as the groundwork for the art style that the series would adopt in the real bout titles. Most notable I think are the stages, some of the best in SNK history here. Honfu stage and the glorious Sound Beach are particularly good, with the latter being tied with KOF 99's Park stage as my favourite SNK stage of all time. The soundtrack too, there's some good shit in there like C62 and Bob's theme, not to mention Big Shot, which, while not trumping Kiryu Kinton in my opinion, is still a great Terry theme. Number 3, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. Man oh man, Real Bout Special. I know I just said this about Fatal Fury 3, but this is where the series once again kicks it up a notch. The presentation is just... it's fucking immaculate. This is such a gorgeous game. The sprites and backgrounds are so colourful, the animations are so detailed, the reintroduction of Fatal Fury 2 characters, the gameplay is so refined, the music is just... this is Fatal Fury. This game is what made me fall in love with the series. I mean, the others certainly helped pave the way, but this game just kicks so much ass. Just look at it, man. What am I supposed to even say? What do I add to this? There's so many little things I could mention, but I'll save that for later. Brass tacks, Real Bout Special is awesome. Number 2, Garro, Mark of the Wolves.
What? Garro, Mark of the Wolves? Not number 1 on the list?
Nope, sorry. What? You thought this was gonna be your run-of-the-mill dick in the vagina MOTW cocksucking ranking video? Seriously? Look at this shit. Tell me what is so damn good about Mark the Wolf.
Oh, I love the girls in it.
Oh yeah, well, Hattori and Bijini can suck my dick, alright? I mean, really, what is so good about this fucking game? I mean, what the fuck is that? This is Gayoriori. Alright, in all seriousness, Mark of the Wolves is excellent. It was a bold strife in a new direction for the series, and it was all the better for the risks it took. Removing every character from the established roster apart from their golden boy Terry was playing with fire, but they made it work by making the new cast extremely refreshing and familiar at the same time, with almost all of them having some sort of tie into the old characters. The sprite work is immense. Not quite as colourful as before, but I still absolutely dig the more muted approach to the backgrounds and stuff. The TOP system is a great addition too, and I love how it can create some really hype-ass comebacks in matches. The music rocks. I don't know. You guys all know what makes Mark of the Wolves awesome. What you're probably wondering is why it isn't taking the number 1 placement. Well, I just enjoy one other game more than it. While I have a ton of respect for the game and have loads of fun playing it, I do think it might be overblown a bit. If I may drop a hot take, I think Mark of the Wolves' reputation precedes it, as in, it gets touted a lot by a lot of big names in the fighting game community, and therefore gets a lot of hype. I just can't help but wonder how much of that hype is coming from people who have actually played it before. Anyway, I'm moving on before I start a flame war. Number 1, Real Bout Fatal Fury 2, The Newcomers. This game represents the absolute pinnacle of Fatal Fury for me. If you put everything that worked about the other games into a blender, you'd get Real Bout 2. This is one of the games where the little things just pile up and create something amazing. You got the funky how to play music, the cartoony portraits on the main menu, I absolutely love these. The way the announcer says, "Get in the ring!" before a match. The maximum comfy stage backgrounds. The best and least intrusive version of the line system, the snappy rush combos, the best looking move effects I've ever fucking seen, the biggest and most cohesive roster in the franchise, which is just one ride and away from being absolutely perfect. Rick Stroud. Even the small details, like Mary having her best design to date, or Terry having one of his best set of voice clips, or Richard Meyer reacting to Bob landing a hit or getting hit on his stage. Absolutely everything is just on point in this game. Some of the animations are just breathtaking. Look at Raging Storm. Look at this tongue super. Look at the supers in general. Look at everything, Jesus, this game. And let us not forget the goddamn music. Okay, yeah, I know some of these tracks debuted in previous games, but they're also in this one and are by proxy part of the Real About 2 experience. There's very little for me to complain about here. I'm sure balancing is probably pretty off, the endings aren't really anything special, there's no plot whatsoever. But fuck if I'm gonna let those things distract me from the majesty that is Real About 2. This game is just 90s arcade fighting game action in its purest form. It feels like the Sonic Mania of Fatal Fury, except it was actually made at the same time as the others by the original devs. When I think Fatal Fury, and why I love it so much, my brain instantly produces a screenshot of something from Real About 2. It's a damn shame SNK hasn't made an updated port with rollback of this game yet, because it's just as much deserving of it as KOF 98 or Mark the Wolves. If you like Fatal Fury and you somehow haven't checked this game out yet, hell, if you like arcade fighting games, screw it, if you like fighting games, if you like video games, even if you don't like video games, play this shit. It's good. Good shit. And that wraps up my ranking. What did you think? I'm sure there's lots of choices you disagree with, games you'd place higher or lower. Let me know in the comments. Just try and keep it civil if you can. I know I'm probably gonna make a lot of people angry by not having Mark the Wolves at number 1. Anyway, I'm aiming to have my next video be another installment in the What the Fuck Is series, but I might sprinkle out some filler in the meantime depending on how long that takes me to make. That's all I got for today though. See you next time. Like with the character ranking, it's completely subjective and gay. It's very gay. It's actually quite gay. Man, oh man, Real About Special. Fuck. This fucking chair is bullshit, man. But this is where the game really decides to fuck my arsehole. The music rocks. Howard. Lol. I don't know. It's nice to record a video that doesn't take 6 fucking years for once.